Good evening, and welcome back to 30 at 6 on Cecil TV. Today is Monday, June 17th. I'm Allison Donnelly, and we have these news items. With the passage of Senate Bill 259, on July 1, communities in Cecil County without broadband access will be entitled to petition Cecil County government to create a special taxation district, requiring the support of 2/3 of property owners and approval of the County Council. Creation of these voluntary districts would generate the front funding necessary to install broadband infrastructure. This option is available throughout the entirety of Cecil County's unincorporated area. Previous law limited special taxation district requests to property owners located within the growth areas as designated by the county's comprehensive plan. For more information, go to ccgov.org. As we begin the week with warnings of more severe thunderstorms, it is important to remember to pay attention to storm alerts because of the potential dangers from falling trees and blowing debris. Adding emphasis to this advice is the fact that last Thursday's storm brought with it a tornado as confirmed by the National Weather Service. The tornado touched down at around 7 p.m. and was classified as an EF1, with winds around 100 miles per hour, and traveled a path from Elk Neck State Park to Hollywood Beach, lasting a total of 8 minutes. No injuries were reported, but hundreds of trees were uprooted. According to the Cecil County Strategic Highway Safety Plan, in Cecil County over the last 5 years, there have been an average of 17 traffic fatalities and 84 serious injuries per year. And those numbers are increasing. We hear about tragic accidents, like the one on Mechanics Valley Road last month that killed 4, and wonder what can be done about it. We've invited former County Councilman Robert Hodge and proponent of highway safety in Cecil County. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, what are some of the challenges facing Cecil County in terms of road safety?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to understand that many of our county roads evolved from even dirt roads. And they were not constructed to today's standards with the speed and size of the vehicles that we have on the road today. So they're narrow, they're windy, there's no shoulders, there's trees, there's telephone poles all close to the road path. And so it can be a very harrowing experience to drive safely on the roads. You have to be paying attention while you're driving. And that's a problem because there's too many people that are very distracted while they're driving for various reasons.
Right, yeah, all kinds of distractions, cell phones, food, just other things going on around.
And some people are sleepy, and some people are on drugs, and some people are drinking alcohol. And there's a whole host of reasons why people are not paying 100% attention to their driving. And I think everybody, including myself, has had a time or two have been distracted or inattentive.
Of course, and you and I have gotten lucky, but obviously that doesn't turn out that way for people who end up having accidents. One of the solutions you've proposed is to put rumble strips on the edges of roads with dangerous shoulders. What would this look like?
Well, as many of the county roads have no shoulders whatsoever, that the edge of the pavement is a white line, and once you cross over that edge, you're either in the ditch or up an embankment. And that means that you'll either flip your car over, or once you run off the edge, it'll pull you into the ditch. Or many people run off but overreact and overcreate, and if they can get the car out of the ditch, it'll cross the center line.
Right.
As it comes back out, it'll cross the center line, and that's also dangerous because if someone else is coming the opposite direction, you could have the potential for a head-on collision. So what I have proposed is that we, the County Public Works roads people, install edge of pavement or edge line rumble strips. And these rumble strips would be right on the edge of the roadway so that if a car wandered over towards the edge, it would start to vibrate and make some noise and make you aware that you are getting very close to the edge of the travel lane, and give you a few minuscule seconds to correct before you run off the edge. And I believe that it's very cost effective to do that because there's no way that the county can upgrade the roads to have a wide shoulder to prevent those ditches. It's very costly to do underground stormwater controls so that we can eliminate the ditches. Now, I was just going to say, over time, as the county reconstructs some of the roads, they will be making the road wider and with a wider shoulder. But even then, because of homes close to the road and people who don't want to take down trees, and there's a lot of reasons why they don't make these rural roads into superhighways, so which would require significant easements and all kinds of extra design and cost.
Right, but it could take a long time for us to widen roads, so it seems like the rumble strips might be a good
that could be done within days, weeks, or months. There are contractors out there that specialize in milling those rumble strips.
It sounds like you've gotten some, I hate to use it to play on words, but traction with this idea. It seems like there's leadership thinks it is a feasible option.
Well, it's interesting that recently, and some of it is because of the fatalities that we've had. Unfortunately, those fatalities bring the issue to the forefront of the leadership that want to prevent this from happening again.
Right.
So I've been asking the county executive, McCarthy, and I've talked to the sheriff, Sheriff Adams, and I've mentioned it to some of the council members and asked them to seriously consider it.
One alternative might be increased speed enforcement on roads in Cecil County. But how do you think we have to? There's always a balance between regulation and enforcement and user friendliness and not being overburdensome. Do you think that an idea like increased speed enforcement is a good alternative?
Well, speed enforcement would help, but I also feel that the sheriff would probably tell you that he doesn't have enough deputies to do enough speed enforcement that would solve the problem. And the problem is not always speed, because if you're unattentive, you don't have to be driving fast.
Right.
You don't have to be. Now, speed compounds a bad situation for sure, but it is one of the solutions. But we would probably have to hire more deputies to make that happen. But I also suggest to you that rumble strips are what they call a traffic calming device, because a lot of people don't want to drive on them. So they're going to slow down so they don't drive on them. So it is, and there are cases where they have added rumble strips to the center line and to the edge so that people slow down so that they can stay in the middle. So I think there's a lot of advantages to the rumble strips, especially if they paint the line on top of the milling. That's supposed to make the line.
What is the milling? Sorry.
The rumble strips.
Okay.
And the best way to make rumble strips is to mill it out of the pavement. So the millings are an indentation in the pavement that creates the vibration and the noise when the tire runs over top of it. If they paint it, it actually creates a vertical line so you can see that white line better, both in the winter and during bad weather. But there's also, in the wintertime, those rumble strips can also help people define that line when there's snow on the road, because snow is white. The edge of the pavement striping is white, so you can lose where is the edge of the highway. And so if the snow's not deep, it will actually, if you run on it, you'll know where it is. So there's more than just keeping people out of the ditch.
Right. Okay. Well, I look forward to continuing to get into this issue with you and other people in leadership in later interviews.
Good. Well, thanks for having me, and I hope that the county will try, at least on an experimental basis, to try some of these edge of pavement or rumble strips to give it a shot and see if it works.
Robert Hodge, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.